welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 4 different ways that I like to use to stretch out my curls. Let's get started. So this is my hair without any stretching. I did a wash and go the day before and my hair is completely air dried. But for this particular video, I highly recommend doing any stretching on hair that is basically 80 to 90% dry. That's how you're going to get the best results. My hair was pretty much 100% dry, so I just went in with some leave-in conditioner. I've been loving this one from Kaleidoscope. So this first one I find myself doing probably the most out of all of these because I like to limit the amount of heat that I use in my hair. So you first basically just want to put your hair in a pineapple. I'm sure most of us already know how to do this. Make sure you bring the hair all the way to the front of your head, and I'm just using a silk scrunchie. I highly recommend only using silk scrunchies for this because you have the least breakage when using them. And then for my lengths, I love this bread puff scrunchie. It's so big and it actually covers like my whole ponytail. So I highly recommend using this one on your lengths. And then I just tuck my ponytail to the side and just tie my hair down with a silk scarf. And I basically just sleep like this. And for me, I like to do this one the most because it takes the least amount of time and your hair is basically stretching overnight. Now, you're not going to see like super dramatic results from this in this video because I did all 4 techniques within one sitting. But as you can see, it stretches the curls out beautifully without disrupting your curl pattern. So that's also why I like to do this one. And I don't have to use any heat on my hair. So that's why I find myself gravitating to this one a lot. So the second one is also a no heat technique that I like to use sometimes. And this is basically a loose twisted bun. So you basically just want to take the hair as you were putting it into a high ponytail, but start twisting your hair into a bun. It doesn't matter which way, just make sure you're twisting your hair to kind of loosen up those curls just a little bit so that you can stretch the hair. Again, just tie my hair into a silk scrunchie and I sleep like this. This one is really good if your hair is not as long. So this is a great technique if your hair is on the shorter side. And I personally like using any technique that doesn't disrupt my curl pattern too much because I still want my hair to look curly. I don't want my hair to look heat damaged. That's why I'm very specific in all of these techniques. So for the next 2, we're going to be using heat. So I'm just going to be taking my Tresemme Heat Tamer spray. I always like to use this before I go in with any heat. Even if it's low heat, I still just want to be safe and protect the curls because shrinkage, as we all know, is a sign of healthy hair. So this one, most of us pretty much know very well. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people do this one. This is basically the tension technique. So you basically just want to pull your hair taut. Don't pull it too softly and don't pull it too hard either, just enough to stretch the hair out. And I like to focus my blow dryer on the front, the top, and the back. So don't forget about the back either when you're doing this, but I like to mainly focus it on my roots because that's where my curls are the tightest, of course. And I do like to hit my ends very quickly with the blow dryer, but not too much because we all know the ends are the oldest part of the hair. So as you can see, I'm just briefly breezing over them really quickly. And after I do each section, I like to take my bread scrunchie and I like to just set them. Kind of like if you were setting pin curls or something, think about it in the same way. So I just like to tie away each section right after I'm done blow drying it. And sometimes I like to take just the extra one at the bottom depending on like the length of the section. And I'm just taking my extra silk scrunchie on the end and I just let that cool. Because a big part of using heat stretching, sometimes if you don't wait for the section to set, your hair is going to spring right back up. So you want to actually wait for the hair to set. So that's why I started doing this scrunchie technique. But when I'm doing this tension pulling technique, I like to tie the hair away with the scrunchie. Again, I'm just doing the same thing on the back quadrant. So I like to split my hair in 4s when I'm doing this particular technique just because I find that it's the perfect amount of sections. And by the way, my blow dryer is on medium heat, high speed. So that works the best for me, and I like to use a concentration nozzle. I find that it works the fastest, and I'm just using my Dyson blow dryer, of course. And I like to only do this for about 2 to 3 minutes per section. I usually don't like to leave the blow dryer on each section longer than 3 minutes per section because I don't want to create any, unwanted heat damage to my hair. So again, as you can see here, I'm just tying away. So I only have 2 of these bread puff scrunchies, which is completely fine. You can only buy 2 if you want to, because once I get to the front section, you're gonna see that when I'm done with that section, I just basically take a claw clip and clip it to this back section as my curls cool down. So you technically don't need 4 if you don't want to buy 4. So I just use 2 of them and just clamp it away to that section just because I find that it basically does the same thing. So yeah, just use a claw clip and clamp it to the back. So I don't stretch the front left part of my hair with heat because my curls aren't as tight in that section. So I just usually leave it alone when it comes to heat stretching. So you want to wait at least 5 minutes while your curls are cooling. I like to use this time most of the time to do my makeup. So just let the curls cool so that you can actually see the results of the stretching. By the way, using thicker buttercreams and heavier, thicker gels really help with shrinkage as well, I found over the years. So just try to use heavier products if you've been having trouble with shrinkage, because the lightweight products usually aren't going to do it for you. So now I'm just going to take out my scrunchies, and you will have a couple of like dents in your hair, but the dents go away so fast. It's really not that big of a deal. You can just pull on your hair and tug on it just a little bit and they'll go away after like a minute or so. So I just love these bread scrunchies because they just slide out of the hair so easily. I don't have any breakage, and as you can see from the beginning of the video how much my curls stretched, but I still actually have curls. And my ends are still intact. And if you notice, I don't stretch my ends because I still want my ends to look nice and bouncy. So that's a big tip too. Try not to stretch your ends because it's just gonna look like you have heat damage if you do. So just try to leave your ends alone because it still looks nice if you just don't stretch the ends. So I can always tell a difference when I do any of these stretching techniques. As you can see my hair from the beginning of the video, I definitely see a difference. So for this last technique, I'm gonna be using these length and lock vents. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started using these, I was a little confused and I was not doing this correctly, and I used them on damp hair. Do not recommend using on damp hair if your hair is on the thicker side because it's gonna take forever for your hair to dry in these things. So I found that doing this on hair that is 80 to 90% dry, just like the rest of these techniques, works the best for my curl type. And I'm trying to show you close up how these work. So the top and the bottom are kind of bendy, so they help your hair actually stay in these. And then they have these like little metal, what are these called, clamps, and you want to basically hook them to the other side of the net part. So you just want to twist the top part around the base of your ponytail, and they stay pretty well. And then you basically want to hook on each hook onto the other side of the net, like basically in a ponytail form. And I just like to hover the blow dryer over each side for about maybe 4 minutes. And this definitely works a lot better, like I said, when my hair is not damp. Because when I did this on damp hair, I was like, this isn't doing anything but making this process longer, and I'm using more heat than I would like to. So just try to do this if your hair is thicker on hair that is basically already 80 to 90% dry, and then you'll definitely see a big difference. And when I take these out, I just basically like to push them in the opposite direction. So you basically want to push each one forward and then open it in the opposite direction. So push and then open. So this really helps your hair not to get tangled in the little hooks. So just push each one forward. See, as I'm doing here, push it forward and then open. So push it and then open. So that just really helps me out a lot, because at first, I'm not gonna lie, my hair was getting tangled in these things and I was like, what is this? But after my third try, I got the hang of it. So as you can see, my hair is all stretched out and my curls are still intact. And I know a ton of us curly girls have shrinkage, but just know that having shrinkage is a sign of having healthy curls. But I know it's frustrating when you do all this work and spend all this time to make sure your hair is growing out nicely and healthy, but the shrinkage doesn't allow you to see your progress. So I hope these 4 techniques help you guys to actually finally see the length in your hair and all your hard work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will have a list of products linked down below that I used in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.